Welcome to the Watchful Citizen, which is sponsored by the Lancaster County Democrats. My name is Barbara Baier, and today's guests are Pete Ferguson, who is the program specialist for Tri-Mentoring Partnership with Lincoln Public Schools, and Angie Zabawa, I almost made it, who is the assistant principal for Goodrich at Dawes and is also on the board for the Tri-Mentoring Partnership. Welcome today, both of you.
Thanks for having us, Barbara. Appreciate it.
Yes. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what's if you've always been in Lincoln, what you do for a living, things of that sort?
Fantastic. I'm proud to say, I guess I would say I was born in Pittsburgh, but I am a proud Lincolnite. I went to Trojan. I was a Trojan, a Leffler Trojan, and then East High Spartan, graduated from there, and then went to Hastings College. And so I've been here. My dad was in the military, so we've lived in some variety of different places, Washington State, Arizona, but here now, and happy to be a part of Lincoln Public Schools. And background, I've worked with youth for a number of years. Formerly was at a local agency, Leadership Lincoln, doing some youth leadership development work. And prior to that, I've always really been involved with young people in some capacity. And then came on board and had the good fortune to come on board at Lincoln Public Schools last February. And so kind of not quite a year yet, but they're still having me, and I'm greatly appreciative of that.
Great. And Angie, tell us about yourself.
Well, I am not originally from Lincoln, but I am from Nebraska. My dad moved around a lot too, but he's an educator.
Okay.
And I spent most of my life in Grand Island, went to the University of Nebraska, and have been in Lincoln ever since. And I feel very fortunate that I was employed, my first job was with the Lincoln Public Schools.
Wow.
I taught 8th grade science at Leffler and Lux, and have spent the last 5 years at Goodrich Middle School, and now I'm at Goodrich at Dawes.
Excellent, excellent. Well, tell us about the Tri-Mentoring Partnership and what that's about.
Right. Well, the Tri-Mentoring Partnership is a grant from OJJDP. You'll kind of hear a lot of those acronyms, but Office of Juvenile Justice Department, and it's a $435,000 grant.
And that's from the feds?
From the federal government, which was received through federal programs at Lincoln Public Schools. Josh Kramer was the author of the grant, so I have to give due credit to him and his writing skills, and Deanna Steiner, who's the director of federal programs. But they saw a need, and one of the things that the district has, I think, has been on the forefront of identifying is that our students in our district really thrive when they have relationships. And that was the key focus of this grant. And so as they looked out at who to include in this and who to partner with, because it is a partnership, they saw some great work being done by individuals and by agencies in this community. Teammates of Lincoln, which is partnering with Lincoln Public Schools and does site-based mentoring. Heartland Big Brothers Big Sisters, which has been an agency that has been here for 40 years, does more of a community-based approach of mentoring or building relationships with students. And then we saw a real important factor of needing to be included is engaging parents. And El Centro de las Americas, which is formerly the Hispanic Center, was definitely on the cutting edge of involving and engaging parents. And so El Centro is one of our partners as well, and we're very fortunate to have that community link be a partner as well. And so the Tri-Mentoring Partnership focuses on doing there's three objectives. One of those is enhancing the partnership, enhancing those agencies that are involved in the partnership, closing the achievement gap. And they always say that's a huge, a huge thing to do, but it's very important. There's an achievement gap between our students of color in our district, primarily our African American, Latino, and Native students, and there's an achievement gap between them and our white and Asian students. And I always say it doesn't say that our students of color are not achieving or cannot achieve. We have students of color in our districts who are very high achieving. Angie and I could both go down the list and tell you African American, Native American students, Latino, Hispanic students achieving in our district. But the reality is that many of them are not achieving at the same level as our white and Asian students for various reasons. And then it's also increasing the number of mentors or people that can provide a relationship for our students of color. and again, primarily African American, Latino, and Native students. We are seeing that all our students thrive when they have somebody that's in their life that is helping them fulfill their fullest potential. Not necessarily what we want them to be, but fulfilling what they want and aspire to be.
Now, Angie, tell us, now you're in the trenches, so to speak, out there in the schools every day. Tell us, what do you see the impact of the achievement gap in your work with students?
Well, I'll share, we all know the statistics that are out there. As Pete just said, there is an achievement gap right now between our white and Asian students, our Latino, our African American, and our Native American students. But in the trenches, we look at it a lot differently. We know, and at our school, we serve about 700 students. And a little over 100 of those students are African American students. And if we look at statistics nationally, or even within our own district, 2 years ago, the graduation rate, approximately 60% of our African American students in the Lincoln Public Schools graduated on time with their class. So at our school, that would mean that 40 of those 100 students might not graduate on time. And that's really disturbing for us as educators who have relationships with these kids every day. We know them by name. Our Latino students, there's also 100 Latino students, and they're graduating right now at about 50%. And to think about identifying half of those students who will graduate on time and who won't, we simply will not do that. We don't accept it. We've seen that strong relationships with adults that help those students think about what their goals are, encourage them. We call it the 3 A's. Provide them awareness of opportunity, experiences, skills, access to those things, but also to advocate for them. When they have adults in their lives that do that, their chances of success increase. So the impact's great.